What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Tell Me More podcast presented by the Real Estate Cheat Code. I have Danielle Alexander with me from Coldwell Banker Realty. Danielle, thanks so much for taking some time out of your day to join us and to just share your real estate journey.
Yes. Well,
We
thank you so much for inviting me to join you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm
Yes. I
excited because I
appreciate
know
it. Thank you so much.
we've been social media friends, and we're just kind of talking a little bit before, and how we're just trying to connect, and busy people, right? Sometimes it's a little bit harder to do so, but I'm glad that we found time today, because I don't know your full story, right? And I love interviewing agents, especially agents that I don't know, right? Like we're associates through social media or whatever, but really getting to
Yes.
understand your path, right? Your
Mhm.
journey, how you thought about building your business. So on the Tell Me More podcast, we always start with growing up.
Yes.
Where did you grow up? What was life like for you?
All right. So, born and raised here in Columbus, Ohio. So, grew up off of Hudson Street. So, the Linden area, which is now making a resurgence, is coming back. And just growing up, I've always been kind of hard headed, stubborn, set in my own ways, and just wanting more out of life. And it's funny, my grandmother, so my dad's mother, she would always tell me a story. At the age of 3 years old, I was at a birthday party, and everyone is enjoying the party. They're having birthday cake, and my mother, gave me a piece of cake, and I didn't want it. And at 3 years old, I'm arguing with my mother. I don't want it. And she was so embarrassed arguing with the 3 year old about eating birthday cake. And I took a stance and said, no, I don't want it. I'm not eating it. And at the age of 3, I was headstrong, determined, and focused on getting what I wanted. And I took a stance and said, no, I don't want it. I'm not eating it. Didn't do it. And my grandmother, she's from Georgia. So she had this Southern drawl and this accent. She would tell that story. And, that's my story. I'm headstrong, determined, and driven, and goal oriented, and it started even at the age of 3 years old. So growing up, you talk to my parents, my family, and they all know that story, and it still rings true to who I am. I want what I want. I want to make sure my clients are taken care of. And yeah, it's a funny story, and it kind of sets the tone for who I am. So
Well,
yes.
and we'll talk about the real estate career, but I'm
Right,
sure
right, that's coming.
that has
It's helped
probably
me in real
served you
estate.
well. That has served you
Mhm.
well, probably. So, did you have any hobbies, interests growing up? Did you end up going to college, or did you jump right into the career field?
Yeah, so getting through middle school, because at the age of 13, I became a teen mother. So my struggles, my trials, my tribulations, being a teen parent, that was a struggle to get through school, because you imagine in the eighth grade, and being a parent. So I had to, change my focus and get serious about life and get serious about school and graduating. So finishing school through, Columbus Public Schools. I went to Monroe, then high school, graduated from Mifflin High School, graduating class of 92. And, just my path to the career I'm on now, it's not a traditional path,
Yeah.
and a lot of twists and turns. But being a product of Columbus Public Schools, I wanted to make sure I did not become a statistic. So as a teen parent, I wanted to make sure that I provided for my son, and that I finished school. So graduated high school and wanted to fast track into college, because at the age of 18, my son was 5 years old, and I could not go, or I could have went to a 4 year university, but I did not have the time to
Yeah.
wait 4 years. I had to take care of my sons, maintain my lifestyle, provide for our family. So I decided to go to Columbus State. So going to Columbus State, I was able to fast track my career to get my bachelor's degree to study real estate. And
Okay.
at, yeah, so I figured, hey, if I have a degree, no one can tell me no. I'll have that, degree behind me. And, you don't need an associate's degree to sell real estate. But I
Right.
figured, and I thought I had to have that degree to sell real estate, because at that point, I'm now 20, 21 years old and wanting to sell real estate without a background in real estate So I had to prove myself. And at the time I worked for MI Homes. So I figured, hey, I work for MI, the largest home builder, number one builder here in Columbus, Ohio. So I figured, hey, I have this degree. I now have 2 years of experience working for you. I want to sell real estate. So
Yeah.
that kind of forced me to finish up school and get the degree. And that allowed me to grow with MI Homes into their field of sales.
I want to go back, right?
Yeah.
Because 13, right?
Yes.
Having a kid, pregnant, right? Still having, the drive and the motivation to
Yes.
really finish school, right?
Yes. Mhm.
And there's so many people that could use that situation and go the opposite direction,
Exactly.
right?
Mhm.
What was it? I know you mentioned you didn't want to be a statistic, right? And again, probably going back to being 3 years old and being headstrong and determined, and so like, can you walk me through that? I know you kind of highlighted it a little bit, but that's a big thing, right?
It
And
is
and
good.
and when I talk with agents and people, and the reason why I love this format is because a
Mhm.
lot of times we don't actually stop and reflect,
Right,
right?
right.
A lot of times there's key decisions that we make throughout our life and our career that have impacted us either positively or negatively,
Yes.
depending on how we handled it. So can you just kind of, how did you manage it? Right. Like, what was that like for you at that time?
Yeah, that's a great question because I did kind of glaze over it, but I was like full speed ahead. I had to focus, and my son became the birth of my determination. He
Mm,
was my why. He was my why I had to get up and go to school and finish school and to study and make a better life for him. So I tell people to this day, you have to have a why. Why do you do what you do? Why did you choose this career? Why did you choose this field? What are you in this industry for? And I always look back and think, yeah, at the age of 13, crazy as it may sound, but he became my why. He was my determination to move forward, never give back, and never make excuses. And don't use that as a crutch to say, I can't do this because I'm a teen mom, or I can't do this because I'm not supposed to. So I use that negative, made it a positive to make that trajectory a success story. So, and it's one of the things I want to do, and I need to do more, is to tell that story because few people know that, and some people in my close circle know that. But I need to do a better job of giving back, reaching back, and helping those so that they understand. That setback is not going to set you back for the rest of your life. Use it to build up, move up, do more, and want more out of life because he was my why. I had to make a better life for him. So he became my determination to move forward and to have a path of success to make a better life for us.
yeah, no, I mean, that's awesome. I think the one great thing about real estate in general is like you get to determine how you want this to go, right? Like
Exactly.
it's up to you, and I tell agents all the time because I talk to a lot of new people getting into the business, and I mentioned to you, and the audience knows I'm passionate about helping new people get into this industry. I didn't have your typical new agent struggles, right? Like I still had to put in the work, but I was in a situation where things were provided, and I didn't have to think about leads and CRMs and admin support, and like I didn't have to think, I still had to put in the work, right? But it's what you put in is what you're going to get out, right? And that's just another scenario for you early on in your life. Was like it was you had a decision to make,
Exactly.
and how you wanted to have that play out. Now I'm curious because you
Mhm.
mentioned going to Columbus State,
Mhm.
getting your real estate degree,
Mhm.
and working for MI.
Mhm.
Did you work for MI first, or was that after, or at the same time?
Yeah, good question. It was simultaneously. So
Okay.
at the age of 20, I started my career with MI Homes, and I was in human resources. And at the front desk, I'm looking at resumes and putting applications in through our process system, so the HR directors can set up interviews. And working for the city's and state's largest builder, I'm able to see what happens in the world of real estate. MI Homes is the largest builder, and yeah, 21, at the age of 20, when I started with MI, I love the company, love the product, but could not afford an MI home. So I'm sitting at the front desk of the HR department and this daydreaming, like, there has got to be a better way. What can I do to improve the life for me and my son? I'm looking at the sales consultants, and I look at the income level. The lowest producing sales consultant back in 96, that was like, $10 million. Their commission check was equal to, I'm sorry, their bonus check was equal to 1 year of my salary. Again, that's their bonus check. So I'm looking at this like, oh my God, these people are making life changing income. And what type of life would I have for me and my son if I could sell real estate, if I could become a new home sales consultant? Because again, this is like out of the staff of 30 or 40 sales rep, the
Yeah.
lowest producing sales rep, bonus check $18,000. I think I was making like 16.5 that year as a receptionist, so barely making ends meet. So in the HR department, it was me and then one other African American lady who worked there. So we're talking. I said, you know what? Her name was Sharon. I said, you know what? I want to become a sales consultant. And she's like, what do you mean? There's no Black people in sales. And honestly, at the time, there were no Black people in sales. And in my homes, we had companies and divisions all over in Florida, in North Carolina, everywhere. And you look at it, we did not have any Black people in sales. So I go back to the story of getting my associate's degree because no one who looked like me sold new home construction for MI.
Yeah.
Well, I had a chance to put in applications and resumes out in New Albany, Showcase Homes at the time. They were hiring for a sales assistant. And I'm looking at the applications. There was about 15 or so well-qualified people who applied, and nobody was good enough. So the VP of sales and marketing, I joked with him and said, hey, I'm giving you really good resumes. You haven't hired anybody. What's the deal? He's like, they just are not making the cut. Are you interested? I said, of course I'm interested. Yes, I would love to apply for this position. What do I do? So met with him, interviewed. He loved my personality and he gave me a chance. And again, back to the other Black lady in HR who said, why do you want to be in sales? There's no Black people in sales. I told her, let that be the reason why. Because there's no one that looks like me that's in sales. Let me be that one person to make a difference. So that led me in. They had tuition reimbursement. So went to school, received my associate's degree, and that fast tracked me. Actually, no, it did not fast track me, but that put me in position to be promoted into the field of sales.
And no sales background. It was just really just I always joke with people, but I'm actually serious. It's like one of my favorite all-time sales movies is The Wolf of Wall Street.
I love
it's literally that scene where it's like, show me the paycheck, and like you were like, I'm there.
I'm there. That's right. It's not about the money. I hate to say it's about the money, but at that time, I'm broke. I'm 16.5 a year, raising a son who wants to play sports and play with friends and go places. I couldn't afford to do it. And, my family, they own real estate. So my grandfather retired from military as a veteran. So I knew the benefit of owning real estate because my family has always had houses and grandparents own homes, but never really looked back into the life-changing experience of, the wealth that's being created through owning real estate. So I'm just trying to get through life. And again, I have this life-changing opportunity to become a sales consultant. So went to school, finished up, and worked in New Albany for about 2 years. I, finished up school, had my degree. So now I'm asking the question, now what? Put me in sales. And at that point, I'm now 25 years old, and they weren't ready for me to be in sales yet. And they had a new build subdivision that opened up. It's called Northland Park, and I drive past there to this day. So that was the very first community where MI offered down payment assistance. There was grant money. There was work equity. And the homes were priced at $99,900. We have 5 model homes, and it was a waiting list of people to purchase their first home. And that opportunity I was able to receive to sell new builds in Northland Park in 1999. We opened up those models and we had a waiting list of people that came through. I sold 30 houses in 1 month.
Wow.
30. It was like next.
Yeah.
And Irving Schottenstein at the time, he actually called me at the end of the month. Going into July, he called and saw the report. And Irving said, Danielle, do you realize how many houses you sold this month? And he said, we made the mistake of waiting to put you in sales as long as we did. But after that, they never looked back. I never looked back, and I kept moving on from there.
How long were you with MI?
I started in 95, and I say that I retired from MI Homes in 2011.
Okay.
So, back to when I left human resources and joined the sales force with Showcase Homes out in New Albany, I had a chance to sit with the absolute best sales teacher, Irving Schottenstein. He would sit out in the model every weekend, every Saturday and Sunday. We called it Entertaining Irving because Irving would be there every Saturday and Sunday. When we opened the model, he was in his car waiting to get in there. And he would stay so long, his wife, Frankie, would call and say, Irving, it's time to come home. And he was a true salesperson. He would shake hands, meet and greet clients. And after the last client he would shake hands, meet and greet with, and he was called to go home, he would call, we would close at 6 on Sundays. He would call the two sales consultants at that time and ask them, did you close the Smiths? And if the Smiths were the person or the family that he had talked to, he wanted to know if the sales reps out there at the time, if they closed the deal with the Smith family. If they did not close that deal, they had to tell Irving why they did not close. So you talk about nervousness. I mean, again, you have the president of the company sitting in front of you
Yeah.
every Saturday and Sunday. So I was able to learn a lot, network with a lot of people, see a lot of people, all types of different walks of life. And it was an eye-opening experience, but I was very blessed to be put in that position to do it. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity. So shout out to Barry Saltzman for hiring me and Pat Perkins, who was a sales consultant at the time, for my days out there in New Albany, because it really set the stage to help create who I am as of now in this field of sales. And of course, Irving Schottenstein, rest in peace. Seeing him in action, it's wow, it was amazing.
I was going to ask you what's one thing that you maybe took away from that experience, that environment with him,
Yes.
because that's one of the things, right? Like as a team leader right now, right? It's in my mind, it's always the conflict of lead from the sidelines or lead from the field,
Yes.
right? And so, and I think you can do both, right? And
Yes.
I've learned, through my journey that I'm typically better leading by example in the field than leading from the sidelines, right? So, but I'm curious of like, what was something that you learned, maybe, in those days of sitting with him, right? Like you said, the president of the company,
Yes.
um, because I know there's something that has greatly impacted your career from that.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And that's a good question, John. I reflect back, and it's always treat my customers right, take care of my customers. Customer service was paramount for Irving. He wanted to make sure that his customers knew the story, the reason why MI Homes even existed. And, with New Albany, Hampstead Village was the name of the subdivision at the time. He wanted them to know the story behind Hampstead Village. So you look back, and I'm just, reflecting on that experience. It's taking care of your customers. I want to make sure my clients they're serviced the way they need to be serviced. You listen to their story, hear their needs and wants, be the voice of reason, guide them, counsel them, and be that leader up front to lead them through the process. And just being able to take care of your customer, because it is so important. I mean, your clients are trusting you to help them navigate through the most expensive purchase they'll ever make in their life until they
Yeah.
buy their next house. So they're trusting us to be the experts and the industry leaders, and we need to know our business, and we need to know the story behind why things are the way they are, and be able to articulate that and explain that, and listen to your clients, and be able to offer them advice and satisfy your customers. Customer satisfaction and customer service is so important to me.
I love that. So
Mhm.
you're with MI through 2011.
Yes.
Um, what was the crash like for the new build world?
It was crazy, the ebbs and flows of our business. So I've seen every cycle, but that crash in '08 was traumatic. Sitting in a model in a subdivision of homes that lost 50 plus $1,000 worth of equity, and you
Yeah.
still have to show up to work and pray that no one comes in and, threatens you because their value just sank, tremendously. So it was traumatic. It was a depressing time because you're still trying to sell homes in a neighborhood that has just appreciated 30, 40,
Yeah.
almost 50% in value, but you
Yeah.
still have to show up to work and do your job and help your clients because there's still buyers who need to buy. And of course, there were sellers who needed to sell. So it was a tough period of time. And, being in the new build industry, I did not experience the existing market. So I had no idea, what was happening as a result of what I sold, 10 years ago prior to the crash. So just seeing the residual effect of the anything goes mortgages and seeing that crash happen and sitting in a model in a neighborhood of values that had just decreased. It was tough, but it was a good learning experience to be able to now talk to my clients about that process, about that home buying and selling cycle. And then being on this side of the fence, being on the existing side, being able to talk to a first generation homeowner to discuss the benefits of owning and the equity position and the wealth creation, and then being able to help that client sell their home and have that huge return on their investment. So you got to take the good with the bad, and just being able to navigate through that experience has really taught me a lot and has helped make me empathetic to this market, to buyers and sellers needs and wants, because I've seen it all. And I can really say I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing a lot and I'm still learning. But, that experience taught me a lot. I learned a lot and it was tough, but we got through it.
Yeah. Looking back on it now, I didn't know any different when I got in. I got in 2011. And so I got the tail end of it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I'm grateful that I actually got in at that time because it was the hard conversations. You had to ask the uncomfortable questions because that's the only way that we could truly determine if we could actually help someone through buying, selling, real estate. And so, looking back, I'm fortunate, and obviously all the agents that I talked to that have made it through that time period, all say the same thing, right? Like it was hard, right? But it also taught me to pivot, right? It also taught me to remain open-minded about my business. It also taught me that communication and really getting down to the root cause of why someone needs to sell or why someone needs to buy is so important, because we're not going to be able to help everyone, right? But we do. But we can help a lot of people, right? That reach out to us. So, talk to me about 2011. Did you just switch from new build world to real estate agent, or was there something else that happened in between?
Something else happened in between. So I made a pit stop. So we had so much in terms of change with MI Homes. I just outgrew the company, having started with MI from 95 to 2011 and just see the process of how the company changed, because they had to pivot too. So everyone had to pivot, and it was a tough learning experience, and it just wasn't the same company. So I outgrew my position, outgrew the new management, outgrew everything, and this was not happy. And I was being recruited heavily by Ryan Homes. So they were just entering into our Columbus market. They knew about my statistics, top 10 in new home sales reps, and they're trying to make a footprint in the industry. So they were recruiting heavy. I just got tired of hearing their calls and saying, no, I'm not interested. I decided, you know what, I'll take your call. So interviewed with Ryan Homes and took a position with them. And unfortunately, it was almost like going backwards. It's just the way they handled their sales staff and paperwork, and their ABC plain vanilla way of selling was not conducive to how I sold homes. And it just was not a good mix. Great product, but just not the right mix. So I signed an agreement to be employed with them for a year. I gave them a year to the date, to the second, to the minute, and said, this is it. I feel suffocated. I can't breathe. I'm not happy here. This is not what I'm looking for. And the pivotal moment there is one of my realtors who I met when I worked for MI Homes. He came into my model and he said, you look miserable. He said, you look absolutely awful. I've never seen you this miserable ever. We need to talk. And he introduced me to a sales manager at the time, Keith Jennings, and then Keith, which he was a sales manager at the Metro office. Going back to my high school days, I always wanted to work in downtown Columbus, and the Metro office with Coldwell Banker was in downtown Columbus. And I didn't want to leave from one of the name recognized companies of MI and Ryan Homes to go to a different brokerage. So I still wanted that name recognition. I still wanted the the glory that it brings, to say you're a Coldwell Banker agent. So met with Jerry White and had a conversation with him. And prior to that, spoke with Newton Burris, who was a good friend, who I called on him almost 20 something years ago. And I was looking for a realtor to sell homes with when I was a sales rep within my home. So I reached back out to Newt. So Newt, Keith, and Michael Jones all made a really good impression on me as to why I should join Coldwell Banker. So 2012, joined Coldwell Banker, and it's happy career ever since.
Let's talk about that process, right? Because a lot of people get into our industry, the real estate agent side,
Yes.
coming from different careers, right? It's usually not someone's first career path.
Right.
When you made that decision to kind of go, and I don't know how your compensation was, with Ryan or MI, but you're walking into a world where it's 100%,
Yes.
commission based. Did you have supporters? Did you have doubters?
Oh my gosh. It was a eye-opening experience. I look back at my new build sales rep days, and I used to take for granted the life of a realtor. I would say these agents are so lazy. You get 3% commission and you're not doing this and you're not. Oh my gosh. I had no idea. It was it's like organized confusion. That spinning place, the circus act, you got to spin the place constantly. And it's the management of it. Not only are you managing your business and your client transaction, whether you're representing the seller, representing the buyer, but in these transactions, sometimes you have to manage both because not all agents are created equal. Oh my God. So, my career in new home sales taught me discipline. You had to be disciplined. You had to show up, work your model. It was like, entrepreneur, we had our own storefront. I was working in our sales model. That was our storefront. That was our business. We had to make it profitable. So I used that same mindset in the world of real estate. And it was a learning curve. I mean, I had no clue what all was involved on this side of the business in real estate. So I went through the training courses with Coldwell Banker, which is the reason why I joined them. And I love that company so much, because they have the tools necessary to make us successful. The management staff, their job is to train, to be that compass, to guide us to what it is we want to accomplish as agents. And we have everything in-house. All the tools that we need to become successful. It's one-stop shop. So I had to take a few steps back to learn the side of the business, how to write an offer, how to negotiate an offer, how set up showings. Like, what am I doing to set up a showing? And then the eye-opening experience on top of that is looking at existing homes. The way these homes look, again, I'm like indoctrinated with new build, new home construction. Everything's brand new, smells new, looks new, touch, everything brand new. It's glittery, shiny, beautiful. Now you're showing existing homes and you're talking to the seller of this home that they want to sell, and they're trusting you to sell it and they're living in it. That was a learning curve. So having that conversation with the seller to say, you have to do X, Y, and Z if you want this return on your investment. So we have to strategize. So having that conversation, then for buyers, opening a door of what they want to, call home, and seeing it in disarray where it doesn't match up to the pictures. That was eye-opening. So it was a learning curve. I think it took me probably 60 days to get a deal done and get it closed. And it was with my sister. And we laugh at this to this day because, she was my new build contract when I started selling new homes for MI Homes. She was one of the first contracts I wrote. And then fast forward to my life as a licensed agent. She was one of the first contracts I wrote. So I like to tell her she's my good luck charm. She helps me open up the floodgates for more deals to come. But it was a learning curve, John, and it was eye-opening experience. And, look back at, sink or swim, I had to make it work. It was no going back. I was going to be successful. I was going to help change people's lives through real estate. And I was able to pivot and take what I learned from new home construction with the discipline and conversations, communications, and knowing how to sell, and now carving it into this aspect of real estate, because now I can do all things real estate, new build, existing, listing, selling. I can do it all. So I was able to take advantage of it.
How did you focus on building your business within that first year?
Mm. Going back to past clients, and that is something
Mm,
that is so important. And to this day, I still regret not keeping in touch with a lot of my past clients because that's golden. I mean, your past clients, that is your book of business. I mean, they know, love, and trust you. They've bought and sold homes with you. You help them make the best decision that they can make in terms of investing in real estate. So
yeah,
those are people that you need to keep in touch with. So nurturing those relationships and re-engaging with clients that I've lost contact with, and the old subdivisions I sold homes in, just networking and marketing and going back to those neighborhoods. So that's what I had to focus on, is building up my book of business with past clients and starting that database, because I pretty much had to start over from scratch because I
yeah.
did not keep an active database. So I had to rebuild it.
Did they, I'm just curious because I see this as a lot of struggles that people have getting into the industry. It's the idea of how the person sees you, right? So,
Mhm,
like, if you are uh, someone that works at Chase, right? Like,
mhm,
and you're doing real estate and you're trying to make that transition. They see you as the Chase person, not as the real estate agent, right?
mhm, mhm.
Did you have any pushback or anything from the people that you helped put into MI Homes as to now, hey, use me as a real estate agent?
It was an advantage, and it
Yeah,
definitely helped give me the leg up, because there's still people to this day that still think I work for In My Homes. It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna help me sell, or take me in, because now I can sell all things real estate. I can
yeah,
sell all builders product, and I, whenever I market or put it in my home on my page, or say, hey, just close in my home, people tend to think I still work for MI. So I use it as an advantage, and I put the positive on it in terms of, not only can I help you buy an In My Home, I can help you buy all homes. And I'm
mm,
not just, now pigeonholed with just working for just one builder. I can now work for all builders. I can now help you buy and sell homes. So it's definitely given me the advantage of being able to use that as a positive to, hey, I work for MI. Now I work for Coldwell Banker. Now I can help you do all things real estate.
yeah.
So it's made a huge difference.
How did you engage those past clients that you lost touch with or just didn't have their
Mhm.
information? Because I think that holds a lot of people back too, right? Like they think that because they haven't spoken to the person in 3 years, that, oh, they don't, I feel weird or it's awkward,
Mhm.
or and so that's what that's that mind block that a
Exactly.
lot of us agents face when we get into the business. Did you have a
Mhm.
strategy, or was it just your stubbornness was just like, I'm here?
I'm here. I know, like, hey, of course you have to, be apologetic, because I had to apologize. Like, I am
Yeah,
so sorry we lost touch with each other. I truly apologize, but I am genuinely interested in hearing about what's happening with your life now. And yeah, I used to work for mine, now work for Coldwell Banker. Are you interested in maybe buying or selling a home? Do you have friends, colleagues, coworkers, anyone that that might be interested in buying a home? So first, of course, lead in and be apologetic, because I do apologize. Life happens and life is lifing. And, I do regret not keeping in touch and making those touch points, different throughout the years and different times of their life. So, I do apologize for not being in touch and not following up. And I hope that they sincerely, understand I'm coming from a genuine place of regret. And, we get through that. So most people understand. So it's not where, hey, you never called me, so I'm not calling you back. I mean, I have lost some clients. I look back on the deals that, may have sold 2 or 3 times over. And I look back like, wow, they sold their house and didn't call me. But shame on me. That's my fault. I didn't stay in touch. So I am still learning, and I am still working to improve my connection and being reconnected with past clients. And it's just a constant evolving, process for me.
walk me through kind of your career up to current day. Obviously to 2012 and getting into the real estate agent side of things.
Yes.
But how did you build your business up on the agent side of it? Was it just past clients? Did you start sprinkling other, I call them business pillars, but other business pillars to grow your business?
Yeah, so networking is key, and I still network to this day. And of course, since COVID, we don't network the way that we used to. But it's so important to network. You cannot be a secret agent. You have to tell people what it is that you do. Everyone's topic of discussion is real estate market. What's happening with rates? What's the price of homes? So being able to engage and have a conversation and talk to people about real estate and what it is that you do. So networking is so important. And then using social media to promote your platform and promote your business, because there's so much for buyers and sellers to learn. And they need to come to us, the industry professionals, not look at, news and, get their information from, Google News or whatever the reviews are saying. They have to come to us as a trusted professional to ask those questions and see what's happening in the real estate world. So, from 2012 to now, and I still do this. I promote my business. I tell people I sell real estate. My dear grandmother, rest in peace, came up with my slogan: to buy, to sell, call Danielle. So I made sure that everybody knows that. And I pass out cards. And now, I've evolved to now the social media site where it's the bling business card. So you can just download the app and use a QR code and exchange information that way. But I think it's so important as agents to let people know what it is that you do. You are here to be a resource and to help and to guide people and navigate them and help them navigate through the world of real estate. So it's so important to network and let people know what it is that you do, which is sell real estate. And that's what I do. I tell people all the time, who do you know that wants to buy and sell? And if you don't want to hear that, I'm sorry, but I tell you, who do you know that wants to buy or sell? Take a card, pass one on. But really be genuine about it, that you really want to help people. And I really do.
Yeah, I think you have to, you truly have to believe, and I don't think I believed this in the beginning, but you truly have to believe that home ownership can solve a lot of problems for people.
Yes. Yes.
I think me being young in the business didn't really understand the impacts. And there's a agent on our team, very good friend of mine now, but he would always tell me, like, we're changing lives. And I was young, I didn't believe it, right? Like, I didn't understand it, and I always say now that I'm wiser, older and wiser, I get it now, right? I see it now. And so you have to believe, that what we do as real estate agents, even though the public opinion doesn't think of us very highly, right?
Right.
But you do have to believe what we do can have a huge impact on that person or that family's life.
That is so true. And my son, who's now a licensed agent, he grew up in the business and he's seen the ups and downs and seen the market. So he's a licensed realtor, and that's his slogan, that's his tagline, that's his motto: impacting lives through real estate, one home, one family at a time. And it's just, it just warms my heart just to see how he interacts with his clients and his genuine interest to listen and to help and to solve problems and to impact lives through real estate, because that's what we do. I mean, you're helping people create wealth through real estate and have the roof over their head where so many memories are created. They're calling on us to help them do that. So it's a very rewarding career, and it's very impactful.
Well, I want to switch gears. I want to future pace, look into the future for what you're trying to do, and kind of we'll do this in a little bit more of rapid fire type questions, kind of off the cuff. But what's something that you're looking to accomplish here in the next year?
Developing. I am so passionate and so interested in real estate developing. Single family homes would be my focus, because we're missing the mark on being able to offer homes priced under $350,000, and it can be done. So I really want to get into developing. I'm taking classes and courses to become certified as a developer and, really make a difference and impact lives through real estate developing. So that's my focus right now.
Especially with what we have going on in our city,
Exactly. Yes.
We're not building up, we're going outwards, and there's a lot of green space. So that's awesome. I like that. It's an avenue that probably most real estate agents don't even focus on too. So
yes. And I really want to use my background in new home construction. I'm so passionate about that. So take what I've learned through all these years of real estate and make a difference and be impactful that way. So really excited about that, and looking forward to embarking on a new line of business.
I love that. What's a 5-year goal for you?
5-year goal to become a successful developer in other cities, states, and areas, and hopefully overseas. I'm an island girl. I love the beach, love oceanfront properties. So the goal is to be global,
Hey,
local,
if you go down to
national.
the beach or an island, just take me with you because I'm a water person. So
You and me both. I love water too. Yeah, so it's a done deal. Yes, we're
I
gonna
don't
grow teams and mentor and coach on the beach, right?
look. I don't care if it's a pond. I don't care if it's a lake. I don't care if it's a river, a pool, or an
Yes,
ocean. Like, just I
you
need
and
to
me.
be there.
You are a water baby. That is so me, John. What's your sign? Are you Cancer? Are you
I'm
Cancer?
a Pisces.
You're Pisces. Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
I not that astrology coming in here, but yeah, sometimes it's kind of gravitate toward that. But yes, I am a water baby as well, John. So
Yeah.
I'm with you
Yeah.
on that. We can
Uh,
strategize on that. Let's work on that together.
yeah, for sure. What's a legacy goal for you?
Okay, say it again. I'm sorry, my service.
What's a legacy goal for you?
Ooh, legacy go. I love that. To have a real estate company where my son and I, Alexander Real Estate, have created an empire in real estate developing. So being able to change lives and help people, create wealth through real estate. So that's a legacy. And to give back, I go back to my story. I kind of glazed over it, but just being able to connect with people that need to hear our story. My son being a product of teen parents, he needs to tell his story. I need to
Yeah.
tell my story. So our legacy is to change lives through real estate. Everything from a financial aspect of it, credit worthiness, how many people we've met that needs help to build credit and understand the importance of credit. So talking to people more and even starting at the high school age or maybe even middle school age. So having a mentorship program to help those in need of help, in need of direction, not just from real estate, but from maybe a life standpoint, just to
Hmm.
show people that there's tools out there, resources out there to help them become successful and to help people tap into their why.
That's awesome. Last question for you. If you could give the audience one piece of advice that either you received or that you give out, uh, what is that?
Tap into your why. You need to figure out why. Why do you do the things that you do? And be clear about your why, your mission, your drive, your purpose, your ambition. What is it that you want to accomplish? What legacy do you want to leave? And how do you want to help people? Because in real estate, as John, you said too, we impact people's lives. We change lives through real estate. And I leave you with this. Just get connected with your family, friends, past colleagues, nurture relationships, expand your territory and your networking, and really get in tune to your why is it that you do what you do, and what is it that you want to do, and what legacy do you want to leave behind.
Danielle, I really loved connecting with you today and
Yeah.
the conversation, just learning a little bit more about you and what makes you tick and the way that you think about business and all of those things. Look, if you guys are watching, down below is Danielle's contact, her phone number, her Instagram handle. If you guys have questions, if you're thinking about buying, selling, investing in real estate, reach out to her. If you're a real estate agent, maybe a
Yes.
teen mom, right? And you guys connect on that level, or maybe you're a builder up that wants to switch to the I would say the good side,
That's right.
and,
That's right.
reach out to her. If you're a real estate agent, reach out to her. But Danielle, for those that are listening in, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Yes, you can call me. I'm good with calls or text 614-374-4491. And you can also connect with me through social media sites, Instagram, Danielle Alexander Realtor 614. I'm also on LinkedIn under first and last name, of course, Danielle Alexander. And like you said, John, I'm here to help. Whatever questions you have, frustrations you have, guidance you have, whatever resources you may need, or just want to reach out and connect, I would love to connect and stay in touch with you. And John, I thank you. I salute you. I applaud you for having this platform, for putting this together, and really being really vested and interested in giving back to make sure that agents are successful, because we need this. There's so much in our business that we can get burned out and just, where do we go? What do we do? We want to sell houses, but how do we sell homes? So thank you for what you do, and thank you so much for having this platform, and thank you so much for reaching out to me to invite me on your stage and on your platform. I'm very thankful. Thankful. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and you know, like I said, I really enjoyed our conversation today, and I know this is going to impact others as well. So, if you guys are watching this, please reach out to Danielle. You know, drop a comment, you know, down below. But Danielle, thanks so much again, and you know, we're gonna stay connected for sure. But if I can ever do anything for you to give back to you, please don't hesitate to ask me, because I'm here to help and serve and do what I can, because uh, I was blessed and had the opportunity of someone mentoring me and showing me the ropes, and real estate's hard, but it doesn't have to be that hard, right?
That is so true. Yeah.
So Danielle, thanks so much again, and we'll talk again here soon.
Thanks. I have to leave you with this. To buy, to sell, call Danielle, or double the fun and call my son. Thank you.
I'll talk to you. Thanks.